coming up inside BC football. In an emotional Red Bandanna game, the Eagles continue their impressive start to the season. Trapilo Ward returns to Florida State to help BC pull off a big upset. And we'll meet two local Eagles who grew up together, are now roommates, and are making a difference on the field.
It's outside the 10. Here goes Richards, wide to the left, and he scores, and BC takes the lead.
That was freshman Turbo Richard with his first collegiate touchdown, giving Boston College the lead in the second quarter of the annual Red Bandanna Game. Started in 2014, the game honors BC alum and 9/11 hero Wells Crowther.
It's an honor for us to, be able to go out there to honor, Wells Crowther for what he did. It's a great opportunity for us to bring a lot of school spirit and just, put on a great show for our fans.
Michigan State would take a 13-6 lead later in the quarter, but the BC defense kept the Eagles within range.
Third and a dozen. Childs spins it. Intercepted. Trying to go to Jack Belling and Carter Davis.
At the start of the second half, the Eagles' special teams would get things going.
He wants to bring it out. Here come the Eagles trying to get it. He fumbles the ball. It popped up in the air, and BC got it.
That was a great play. That was a huge play in the game, but we got a field goal out of it. But we got to turn that into 6 and 7, with the extra point. So, but anyways, yeah, we work very hard on special teams. Matt Turn does a really good job. Nick McGriff, they really coach it very, very well.
In the next series, the Eagles got the ball right back.
He threw a pick, tried to go to Belling and threw it behind him, and it's picked off by Amari Jackson.
The Eagles' powerful running game put BC back in front.
Here's Trapilo Ward, a little sweep play to the left, and look at him fighting through cracks, keeps his feet down the far sideline at the 5, and touchdown.
The lead would change hands again in the fourth quarter, but the spirit of the Red Bandanna was with the home team on this night.
And the ball, Lynch Adams, no sir. Straight up. Here's the first down snap for Childs. And now he's in trouble. He's going to be pulled down, and that's a sack for Ezaraku. They're going to run it one more time, and Carter got pulled down. Bam Crouch fires through and drops Nate Carter. Castellanos, pressure coming, wants to throw, shoots it to the far side. That's the catch by Bond. He'll turn the corner.
When a big play was called for, a familiar duo came through.
Going to take a shot downfield. Bond is there. It's caught at the 10, 5, and Boston College leads.
Lewis Bond's touchdown put the Eagles back on top for good, but not before the Spartans made one final attempt.
Childs eludes the first rush, going to hang it up downfield for Foster in the end zone. It's intercepted. Max Tucker, who almost had one earlier in the game, gets one with 36 seconds left.
23-19 would be the final in the 10th annual Red Bandanna Game.
I just am so happy for the students here. I mean, we have to be an exciting team so people want to come watch us play. And I think the students, they work really hard too. It's a great school. It's a very demanding school. And to give them something to cheer for on Saturday night, I think that's pretty cool.
Coach O'Brien does a great job of, making sure we take everything one day at a time, one play at a time, one game at a time. We understand that, we have something good going on here, and we just want to continue that.
The victory for Boston College moved them to 3-1 on the season. But how did we get to this point? When we come back, we'll look at how the year started in Tallahassee and hear from standout running back Trapilo Ward.
Castellanos reaches the ball out at the goal line. He's in. That's a BC touchdown.
The first game of the Bill O'Brien era couldn't have been executed any better, as the Eagles clearly outplayed the Florida State Seminoles on both sides of the ball.
Can't avoid the sack. Down he goes. Donovan Ezaraku.
Defensive line wise, I think we have a solid group, and I think that kind of showed, us being able to, get to the quarterback. And like I said, we just want to continue that, one game at a time, one practice at a time.
Uyunglele, pocket collapsing. He's got nowhere to go. Sacked again.
I think our D-line is doing really well, off to a great start. I think that, this is just the beginning. I think that they're going to just keep doing what they're doing all season, and, it's going to be really special.
I feel great. Body feels healthy. It's been good because I've definitely poured a lot more into, the basics of, football. Working on the smaller details of defensive line play, as well as also putting a lot of time in the film room, really studying my opponent.
We have a lot of athletic, fast guys. We have a lot of depth, and I think that, we all complement each other really well in the field.
Out of hard count, a sidearm lob, and it's intercepted. Max Tucker down the sideline, inside the 10-yard line. First and goal, Boston College.
On the offense, Thomas Castellanos showed how his off-season work has paid off.
Again, a four-man rush. There's the wheel route, and this time Trayshawn Ward makes sure down the sideline.
He's put in a lot of work in the offseason. I give him huge props to that. He's really trying to sharpen his toolbox and become a really well-rounded quarterback.
Castellanos down for Ward at the pylon. He slips inside for another Boston College touchdown. Trayshawn Ward victimizes his old team.
That was transfer standout Trayshawn Ward, the former Seminole, with the TD catch. After 4 years at Florida State and 1 at Kansas State, Trayshawn didn't need much convincing to come to Boston College.
First of all, my relationship with Coach Savon Huggins, he had a pretty good plan when it comes to how he wanted to utilize me in the offense. And then not only that, with football reasons, but he talked about the great education here. This is probably like the most pro-level college spot I've been at. The way they run things, just, pro-level.
Breaking tackles is Ward. All the way inside the 15 down to the 11-yard line.
With my smaller size, I tend to try to, run a little bit more tougher.
Trayshawn Ward, he's a very shifty twitch guy, and he kind of takes me from the run game. He kind of got the wiggle and the spin plays and, make crazy cuts and stuff like that.
I think it's really beneficial to have a guy like Trayshawn with that much speed and quickness and, elusiveness. We're really happy to have him, and he's done great so far.
And Ward, who had 77 yards rushing and 61 receiving, was quick to credit his big offensive line.
They do a great job. They're physical, violent. I wouldn't say nasty, but got some nasty tendencies, and that's the type of line that we have here.
Still, it must have been quite a feeling to return to play and then pull off the big upset against his former team.
When I first walked in, I thought it was going to be a little bit of hostile, but actually I had some pretty welcoming fans. Despite the loss, they still dapped me up, said good game, chopped it up with me, even some of the coaches as well, and that brought a little warmness to my heart too.
He's Florida State, then Kansas State. He's found a home here at BC. He's a grad student, very bright guy, practices very hard, has a very business-like approach to everything that he does. Does a lot in the community, just like a lot of these guys do. So look, I think he's a good fit for BC. We wish we had him for longer. We only have him for this season, but he had a good day today behind an offensive line that really paved the way tonight.
Coming up on Inside BC Football, Ozzy Trapilo. He talks about following his father's footsteps as the Eagles continue to roll. And later in the show, 2 Eagles who grew up together and are still best friends to this day.
Because you do so much for this team, not only do you throw the ball, you're running all over the field. That means recovery is extra important for you as QB1. It's a short week. You play again on Saturday against Duquesne. What does the week look like for you in particular?
Well, I go to Boston College, so we got class tomorrow.
There you go. True.
There was definitely a lot of excitement here when we got back in the Florida State game. A lot of students, they were pretty hyped about, the win.
It's like that 24-hour rule. Celebrate for that 24 hours, enjoy the win. But when we get back in the facility the next day, we kind of have to flush that and, move on to the next week. There is a buzz with this football team this year. For Duquesne, there was a huge, fan turnout, and that's exactly what we need for every single home game.
And the Eagles' super fans were cheering throughout as BC thoroughly took it to Duquesne.
It's a four-man rush. Castellanos taking a shot downfield for Jerron Bradley, and he brings it in. Castellanos on the wheel route to Lewis Bond. All kinds of space. First down and more. Ward on the handoff. Cuts to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Eagles.
All right, that's what we talked about last night. Let's show them what we can do, all right? Keep going.
Castellanos taking a shot. Reed Harris is wide open, and he is off to the races. Touchdown, Eagles. 72 yards.
JJ's got to do a great job of manning up number 2 to be able to help you get into that run bit. But don't back up.
On the slant, it's intercepted. Curry Johnson has it down the sideline. Parentis tries to cut him off. Johnson to the house. Castellanos throws to the tight end, Kamari Morales. Touchdown. He lets it go deep again. Home run ball for Bond. Pulled in. Touchdown. 49 yards. Castellanos looks to throw here on second down. Wide open down the middle. It is another Boston College touchdown. Trayshawn Ward out of the backfield. Continues to be a huge threat. Prentice throwing on the run. It's intercepted. Jalen Cheek cuts it off and gets a foot down inbounds. Keep it on the ground. Detrell Jones breaks a tackle, and there he goes. Detrell Jones inside the 5. He scores. They will keep it on the ground here, and it is the quarterback, Jacoby Robinson, scoring a touchdown for the first time in his college career.
Oh, it was good. I mean, I was happy for the kids, you know, especially like, you know, a guy like Curry Johnson, who's been around here for a long time and had a pick 6. And, you know, I thought Tommy did a good job today. You know, look, I think we ran the ball hard. I think, you know, we rushed for a decent amount of yards, but I thought we left some yards out on the field. But, you know, look, I thought the defense really held up. Anytime you get a shutout, I think that's obviously very, very good. So, you know, there's a lot of things that we did well. I'm not trying to say we didn't, you know, there was a lot that we did well, but I think we can be better.
The Eagles compiled 563 total yards as the offensive line continued to control the line of scrimmage.
We're very close as a unit as a result of the things we've been through in our time here. We had a good room last year. We had a lot of veteran guys. I mean, Christian Mahogany, Kyle Hergel, older guys that were able to sort of lead that charge. We got a lot of guys who have now, you know, had a lot of snaps. It's crazy to think I'm at the front of the room now. I'm an older guy trying to help out the younger guys to continue on the tradition.
Speaking of traditions, Ozzy Trapilo, like his teammate Drew Kendall, has lived the Boston College traditions his whole life, as both their fathers played football at BC before playing in the NFL.
Flutie flushed, throws it down. Caught by Boston College! I don't believe it!
Ozzy's father, Steve, played for the Eagles in the 80s. That's him carrying Doug Flutie after the famous Miracle in Miami. Sadly, Steve Trapilo passed when Ozzy was just 2 years old.
What I know of him is really through stories that my mom tells me, my other family members, you know, people that have known him, people around BC that have been here a long time, long enough to know him. Growing up, that was sort of my image of him, which is really cool in a sense. You know, I see pictures. We have memorabilia in my house of things like the Flutie game. You know, we have pictures of that. It's cool to hear things like from my mom, for example. We have the same walk, which is which is just cool to hear. You know, little things like that. I think as I grow up and sort of, you know, go through the same process or a similar process that he did through her eyes, I mean, it's really cool for her, and she shares that with me quite often.
And now Ozzy is thriving as he follows in his father's footsteps.
He set the bar pretty high, and then, you know, I'm coming here trying to build my own footsteps and sort of, you know, accomplish the same goal as him.
Stay with us on Inside BC Football. We'll check out some highlights from BC's road loss at Missouri and have a story on 2 teammates who have been best friends since they were kids.
Football's on the ground. Castellanos gets rid of it, and wide open, Reed Harris is uncovered. That's a 67-yard touchdown.
Just like they planned it. And the Reed Harris touchdown gave the Eagles a 14-3 lead in the first half on the road against highly ranked Missouri in Week 3 of the season. Unfortunately, the Missouri Tigers showed why they are in the top 10 as they reeled off 24 unanswered points to take a lead they would never relinquish. The resilient Eagles almost came back with this Kamari Morales touchdown reception, but Missouri handed BC their first loss of the season.
I was very proud of these guys to come on the road in the SEC. We're never going to accept losing. It's not a moral victory. That's not what I'm saying. I want to be real clear about that. But you know, even with the adversity that we dealt with, we turned the ball over. We had trouble stopping the run. At the end, we were in the game. You know, if we stop them on that second to last third down, you got a shot to get the ball back. You never know what's going to happen. So, shoulda, coulda, woulda, no doubt about it. But I think we got a lot to build on here, and I'm really proud of these guys. And you know, I'm looking forward to getting back to work tomorrow.
Obviously, you know, losing the game is frustrating. You never want to accept failure, accept loss. But at the same time, there was a lot of things that, you know, that we did really well.
One of the top performances came from Jaden Skeet, who had 5 receptions for 47 yards. Skeet began his BC career a year ago. He grew up in nearby Hyde Park, Massachusetts.
My mom came here. Yeah, I live 15 minutes from here, so it's very close. I like to stay local. Being close to my family was a big thing for me.
He's a guy with a lot of talent, and sometimes it takes a little while to get adjusted to a new level, and I feel like that's the biggest thing for him.
As a sophomore, Skeet has become a regular in the starting lineup, as has his good friend since childhood, defensive back Max Tucker.
Oh, Max is my brother since we were this high. We started on Hyde Park Cowboys together.
We grew up on the same street, so we used to ride the bike, play basketball around with each other all the time. We also played for the same Little League team, and we also went to Catholic Memorial together,
where they helped lead Catholic Memorial to 2 straight Division II state championships.
For me, my mom just wanted me to go to a private school and wanted me to play good football because she knew my goals. My goal was to play Division I football, and Catholic Memorial, they get a lot of guys out of Boston.
Max was at Catholic Memorial from 7th grade to senior year, so I came in my freshman year, and just seeing him playing football on that level kind of inspired me to want to do that too.
And they moved on to BC at the same time.
It's a no-brainer because I'm near home. I also get to play with Skeet, and it was just like, I was just like, yes, because like my family gets to see me as well, so BC was a no-brainer.
I think he's got a little tenacious dog mentality inside of him. You know, he shows up every day and he comes to work. He's a really good competitor. He's a great teammate.
And it's intercepted! Max Tucker down the sideline, inside the 10-yard line.
Max Tucker's he's a young guy that, you know, he came in last year as a freshman. He didn't initially see the field, but he worked his way into that role. And I've been a huge fan of Max since he's gotten here. He plays with a lot of heart.
Tucker and Skeet aren't the only Catholic Memorial alums playing for BC.
Blistering hit, Owen McGowan, a torpedo coming in.
Running back Detrell Jones was also a part of those championship teams.
Detrell Jones, inside the 5, he scores!
Growing up, me and Max played on Hyde Park Cowboys. They played on Mattapan Patriots. We were all familiar with each other.
I knew in the end that we would all end up playing together, and it ended up working out.
And it's working out quite well for Boston College.
Max is a very competitive guy. I love him with everything in me. He pushes me to be the best I am, and I push him because we talk to each other. We have our goals, standards set up here, and we're going to make each other achieve that.
He's also my roommate as well. He's been my roommate last year, roommate this year. He's definitely going to be my roommate for the next few years as well. So it's just good to learn from the offense. He learns from me. It's just a good banter that we got, and that's my brother. So we're always going to compete against each other. We're also going to love each other at the end of the day.
In the end zone, it's intercepted.
To learn more about the Eagles and to purchase tickets to all remaining home games, visit bceagles.com. We'll see you next time on Inside BC Football.